Bear with me for just one moment while I start our LinkedIn live stream. Take just a moment. And welcome to our LinkedIn live stream audience, our YouTube live stream audience, of course, everyone here on WebEx. I'm Stuart Creek from Simplilearn, and we are here today with Ronald van Loon. Ronald will be presenting the trends for 2023 in AI and technology to enable next generation experiences, which is fast developing area of technology, its applications. For people who are on WebEx, please enter your questions in the Q&A panel. You can put comments in the chat, but the questions for Ronald that you want him to take in the question and answer, please put those in the Q&A and we'll be able to track them easier. If you're on one of the streaming services, put those in your comment or chat box to be able to get them translated here. And we have a poll before and after his presentation. So we've got this one, lead in and give us an idea of who's in our audience today. That is, how many years of experience do you have in the workplace? Not necessarily in AI, data science, or particular technology, but just how many years of work experience do you have? And then we do a check-in. We've been doing that throughout the pandemic on how people are doing, holding up with different surges and things coming and going. And we're in winter in the Northern Hemisphere, so we're getting more COVID and flu and RSV coming. So we've been checking in on that. And here's the poll result. And kind of a bimodal distribution. We got a third of the audience who are still at college or university, a third who have more than 10 years experience, and then evenly between. And it's good to see that most everybody is doing well or doing okay. So with that, I'm going to let Ronald speak about himself and we'll get the presentation started.
Yeah, thank you, Stuart. Thank you. I'm Ronald van Loon. I'm the CEO at The Intelligent World, and I share my knowledge on social for already 5 years, and I do that with great pleasure and to benefit from it. I was announced as a top influencer in several areas, in data science, in big data, and in AI. And today, I want to thank you for joining us. Today, we're going to have a conversation about enabling the next generation of experiences, as Stuart was mentioning it already, where we're going to discuss AI and technology trends for 2023. If I look ahead of 2023, it's almost there, just a couple of weeks. This will be a year that businesses will deepen their digital transformation agendas. They worked on it a lot, especially during the COVID period, but they will now further expand that. They will broaden their view of their business operations, and they maximize their infrastructure output to support highly connected social, work, and business environments and their experiences. Now, organizations that have laid out a data and AI-driven technology foundation, I think they are uniquely prepared to deliver the next generation of type of experiences and an exceptional engagement strategy in 2023. And this foundation is critical, and most companies have been forced to build this type of foundation during the pandemic, which really speeded up the digital transformation. Now, companies also must further integrate, and they must connect their data. They that connect their technologies and their capabilities to deliver this next generation of experiences. And what end users are requiring is an immersive, virtual connected world, which is driven by the metaverse. It's driven by super apps. It's driven by observability and by sustainability. And these are the 4 topics that we're going to dive in today in much more detail. Now, at the same time, we see that businesses have to drive visibility in all aspects of their enterprise. So their data and their technology, like AI, they need to do this to deepen their understanding of the impact of their transformation, and they need to consolidate and they need to integrate their digital environments into the physical environments. Now, only through enhancing visibility and through driving automation across the enterprise can businesses collaborate, and they can do that at scale, which is really critical right now, and drive accurate decisions and do that in real time and deliver next generation type of experience, which maybe I still have a futuristic type of feeling, but what you will see the coming year is that AI will substantially impact experiences, and we dive deeper into this today. Now, our experiences are being shaped not only by technologies like AI, but also 5G and cloud are very important foundation, because it's basically the road, the foundation where you drive over if you want to deliver these type of experiences. What we see is that organizations are developing all kinds of new innovations to meet these demands of fully connected virtual world, expanded by capabilities like we call it XR, extended reality, or by enhanced video type of streaming, by highly collaborative digital work environments, as not everybody, but many people work remote, and they need to be able to collaborate in digital environments, of course. And consumers, they have high demand for this extended virtual experiences everywhere where they go. And that's also, let's say, moving towards business, to B2B type of experiences. Now, if you look to consumers, whether they want to live stream, whether they want to consume video content, whether they want to shop, to work, or attend your school, or maybe you want to socialize, they all want to have these type of experiences. And virtual and digital realities, what we see is that they are converging. Very nice, maybe, I was in Bangkok, where they presented let's say the metaverse, but not with an avatar. But I was in the metaverse, interacting with other people, and interacting. In this case, it was in some wood where there were pandas, and I could interact with in the metaverse and with other people, not as an avatar. And that's, let's say, a next level type of virtual experiences that you can expect in the coming years. And we see that these type of immersive experiences, they are really driving the metaverse, and this is exploding in popularity. Now, businesses are scrambling to define what next generation type of experiences mean in the metaverse as well, and how to differentiate themselves in the future through new innovative type of metaverse services. And maybe it's hard to imagine, but to give a very simple idea, the metaverse in business to business, you can build a factory digitally already, run it and operate it digitally. That is the metaverse for B2B. And before you build a factory, you run it and you discover all the issues that can occur before they occur, before you even start building. What we also see is that more millennials and Gen Zs, they are driving the future of workforce experiences, and they define what is required for these type of experiences. Now, businesses are trying to shape work experiences as well, that are based on the functionality and the convenience of mobile technologies. On the other hand, keeping their core values of social and environmental sustainability. And in a world that's converging with digital technology, so the physical and the digital type of technologies, workforce experiences of the future will also be highly digital. I think it's good to remember that the metaverse also encompasses virtual work experiences. Now, enabling highly connected and collaborative type of virtual workspaces are top priority for organizations who want to ensure a resilient future. And organizations, they are prioritizing scaling virtual products and virtual services, and aiming to be leaders with delivering all kinds of new forms of engagement in this digital world. But as organizations expand their infrastructure to accommodate these new technologies and these applications, architecture complexities increases as well. As data volume grows and new technologies and applications are enabled, it becomes difficult to connect disparate type of environments and bring visibility into many working components of day-to-day type of business operations and the complex architectures. Now, and as a result, the businesses are building new type of infrastructures that consolidate and streamline technologies and applications and make them more user-friendly and make them more accessible, similar to mobile and desktop type of experiences. Now, scaling and enabling technology and enhancing collaborative experiences between people and work introduces also security risk and security vulnerabilities. And more organizations than ever, they are suffering all kinds of data breaches. And that's what we're going to discuss as well. Now, during this third quarter of 2022, we saw 15 million data records were exposed worldwide through data breaches. And this is a 37% increase compared to the previous quarter. And this is substantial type of increase. And businesses need to think about security in a new context and understand what internal and external factors impact the security and what impact businesses must bring the visibility and automation into their entire business while simplifying the security processes. And now what I see as well, it's imperative that companies enforce this zero trust type of security. And this is very important. And they also try to unify their security environment. But as organizations, as they scale, their technology, they're reshaping their engagement strategies, and they further streamline their infrastructure. Their decisions will be influenced and it will be driven by sustainability. Now, all technology investments, all the product service developments, and the infrastructure overhauls will be weighted against their impacts on the environment. Now, we see also sustainability. This will continue to be a major factor in the coming years, and especially in 2023, as organizations consider the social, but also the regulatory and the environmental impact of their business, and weave sustainability strategies into their technology frameworks and into their business goals. Now, businesses also understand that consumers respond to brands that are environmentally conscious. And at the same time, we see that the next generation workforce experiences will cater to modern talents who prefer to be employed by companies who are more inclusive and were also environmentally conscious. And that's especially the younger generation, who really put an emphasis on this. Now, organizations have to shape customer and employee engagement strategies, and they have to do this with sustainability at the forefront of their considerations. Because if they don't, it will be hard to employ this Gen Z type of employees. If we look to 2023, this will be a year that businesses are excited, I think, and they have to spend the last few years on modernizing technology and their infrastructure to prepare for AI. But now they can really explore the potential and to differentiate themselves by enabling the next generation type of experiences and define the future for more intelligent and a highly immersive, globally connected world. And they have the foundation for this right now. Now, that businesses have laid the technology foundation and digital groundwork, they can collaborate to this new type of heights. And they make intelligent decisions with incredible accuracy and introduce automation and AI everywhere. Now, businesses are starting to deeply understand the impacts of their data and their technology environments, and they unify their business infrastructure so they can create amazing new products, new services, and new experiences that will shape and define our immersive, connected, intelligent future. So now it's basically, let's deep dive and start with trend one. And trend one is the Metaverse. Now, if we talk about the Metaverse, global immersive experiences, is one of the biggest trends in 2023, and that's the Metaverse. And as I said, the Metaverse is not only the B2C type of metaverse, maybe the Meta and the Facebook type of metaverse that you know, but also especially the B2B, where the business cases are tremendously valid in the to set up a digital type of environment and to set up a metaverse. Now, just like the internet, we will see that people will be using a platform for the metaverse and where they can socialize, where they can work, where they can connect. So you can just imagine what the potential is of a single place that brings everybody together in this physical and in this digital realities in a simple, in an interactive type of way, in a user-friendly type of way. And I think this is more the B2C type of application that you are aware of. But the metaverse in the B2B will be used, is called digital twins. That was what I was explaining. This factory, they create a digital version of this, and that's a digital twin. And a digital twin is this digital version of a real life object, but also objects together. And then you create, for example, a factory or a whole system or a whole city can be digitalized. And in the context of the metaverse, a digital twin can be used to bring physical spaces or objects into the virtual world. And this allows people to interact with these type of digital versions in a more immersive and in a more realistic way. And for example, fully simulate this new factory building in operation. And that's before it's even built, which I think is quite amazing. And this reduces the time to set up a factory substantially. And this will help organizations to speed up all kind of developments and also to save a substantial amount of cost in creating new products, in creating new factories. Everything what's digital and what can be created in a digital twin, they can save tons of cost. Now, if you think about it, you can witness the potential of the metaverse when you're gaming, for example. And it's more or less, it looks like an extending game that where you're playing in. So you can also use it for attending online education. You will use it for social media, or you can use it for collaborating remotely at work. And the future of the metaverse is, yeah, it's still a kind of evolution of these types of virtual experiences where people are virtually connected globally through often a 5G network, if it's let's say not connected to wired network, but where 5G plays an important role, and where we have new technologies coming up in 2 to 3 years, which are 5.5G, which are 10 times faster, and where you can create metaverses with yourself in the metaverse, what I was explaining. And this is extended reality, and this is built into our physical and into our digital type of experiences. Now, organizations, what we see is that they are exploring more business cases for virtual reality, also known as VR, and also augmented reality, and this is more known as AR. And they use this for enhancing collaboration and for digitizing workflows. Now, for example, implementing VR and AR technologies into the design process, reshaping how people approach factory engineering by using VR displays and to enhance creative design and create designs together with their VR glasses on while being in different physical locations. Now, also, artificial intelligence is a key component of shaping the metaverse. It's used in the creation of the avatars and in the development of the virtual worlds. It's used in the compute for delivering the compute power. And the metaverse requires large and complex simulations. And businesses need to test and create these virtual simulations that are built on these advanced technologies like AI. Now, 3D worlds help organizations to innovate and to explore all kinds of new possibilities in the metaverse. And the 3D worlds, they are required for other innovations like autonomous driving, but also for smart cities, as I was explaining. Now, consumers, I'm quite excited, and I think many consumers are quite excited about the metaverse when it comes to connecting with others and collaborating with colleagues, which you can do remotely. Now, 60% of the consumers prefer at least one activity in an immersive world. And it doesn't have to be, let's say, the Meta, the Facebook type of metaverse you have in mind. It can be in all different kinds of shapes and forms. Now, if we look to executives in businesses, executives, they are showing strong signs of support as well. 95% of the executives believe that the metaverse will positively impact their industry, which is really substantial, and that the metaverse would generate 5 trillion by 2030 already. So you can see that in the B2B market, the metaverse is even much bigger than it is in the B2C market. And the metaverse is still at the beginning stages, I think. And in many aspects, they're going to be defined by how business innovates with new metaverse services and with new type of experiences. But what we see is that the metaverse also presents many challenges. And one of the big challenges, for example, high connectivity and computing power requirements, as we were discussing. And this will be necessary to support metaverse innovation and the expansion. And I work closely, for example, with companies like Intel and NVIDIA, and they show even a 1 million x improvement of compute power over the coming years. It's not 5x, 10x, a 1 million x improvement of compute power, which is really incredible even to imagine what kind of improvements we can expect over there. Now, if you can improve your compute power, you can improve your simulations and your speed, and that will provide all different kinds of new possibilities with the metaverse, for example. Now, organizations want to create long-term value, and they need to be resilient in this coming future. And the metaverse is becoming a popular choice of fueling this innovation and to ensuring the continuity of the companies. Now, if we look at the first half of 2022, companies have invested more than 120 billion in reshaping the metaverse infrastructure and technology, which is more than twice as much as all of 2021. So you see there's big investments in the metaverse, and also for you, if you think about starting with data science, starting working on machine learning, this can be an area where you can further develop and where companies need experts. Now, the metaverse also ties directly into modern trends, such as inclusivity and sustainability too, and improving areas like healthcare, for example, with connected telehealth and enhanced type of coordinated care, remote care, and public sector by enhancing city services and planning. Basically, it's going to be everywhere. Now, the metaverse creates an inclusive environment where geographical barriers don't exist anymore. And this breaks down basically global barriers. And if there's global barriers, initially, for example, you had global barriers for education. There will be less barriers. Now you can, of course, do all remote, but if you can have one-on-one education in a virtual world, there's no barriers anymore. The same with collaboration, the same with development for products, for example. Now, businesses are investing a lot of money and a lot of time in creating new metaverse type of experiences. And they're more personalized and put people in front and center as the creators of their own experiences. Now, from digitally projecting their own physical image into the metaverse using 5G and IoT cameras, for example, so you can interact with the metaverse and with others around you. But for this type of technology, you need faster internet, and it's either 5.5G, which requires, I think, a minimum of the 500 megabit per second. Or you can use, for example, AI as a creative tool to help you with your everyday users to build all kinds of 3D new worlds. Now, the metaverse, what we just see, is a massive opportunity for organizations to deliver the next generation of experiences. And therefore, I think it's a massive opportunity for you as well to say, hey, I'm going to be an expert in everything that's required to build and support companies in the metaverse. So that's basically the first trend. Let's go to the next trend, and that's super apps. Now, this is also an important trend for 2023. And why? It's enabling the next generation of experiences. Now, we have talked about how the future will be built on global immersive connected experiences. And super apps bring the convenience of technology, platform features, and applications into one place. So people can use services they want quickly, and they can collaborate effectively at work, for example, but also privately. And if you look at super apps, they combine the features of apps and a platform into some kind of single space. And the idea is that any user, like a consumer or an employee, can access a core set of existing platform features, plus have access to any independent smaller type of apps. And the platform features and the applications exist inside that single platforms. Now, if you think about consumers, employees, executives, they can use the features and the apps they want, and they can personalize it for their own experiences. And users can activate or remove applications at any time. Now, because super apps exist on a platform, they have convenient features like messaging and payment. And everybody knows, in the meantime, what Elon Musk wants to do with Twitter. He wants to make it a messaging system, a payment system on Twitter. So he wants to build a super app from Twitter as well. Now, super apps in the future, they are going to expand to support this immersive type of metaverse experience as well, and probably as well IoT type of technology, but I will explain that later. Now, a practical example of super apps for consumers would be the consolidated features of a mobile applications, like financial service customers who use mobile banking apps, or you just like how you can make payments, or view your account, or access your credit card score on your mobile banking app. And everybody knows the super apps. One that's coming is Twitter, but other ones which are very popular, for example, in China, but also outside of China, which is WeChat. And some other super apps include, for example, Grab, especially in the Southeast Asia. This is a very popular app, and this allows users to access a variety of services. You can think about ride hailing or food delivery and digital payments. And this is all from a single platform. And additionally, some global companies such as Google and Apple and as mentioned Twitter, they are developing their own type of super app-like platforms that offer a wide range of services to their users. Now, examples of super apps in business would be creating engaging employee experiences by enabling mini apps for a large user base. So they can use specific tools and services to improve their workflow and to improve their collaboration. So also in the B2B side, you will see developments of these super apps. And practically speaking, I think super apps in business are similar to what you call platform as a service, also called PaaS, for example. So a PaaS cloud type of solution platform. And another term which is used now is low code or no code type of application platforms, which are also basically super apps foundations. And super apps make it easy to access a broad range of services and tools from a user standpoint. So it helps engineers, it helps developers, it helps IT professionals to build super apps and add or remove mini apps for users very easily. And all the while, businesses can benefit from this platform features for data sharing. You can use, for example, the authentication, which is critical, but also user tracking and preferences. As you know, on every platform where you go, your data is stored, it's tracked, and you can either control it or and sometimes it's limited. And that's how these companies earn money as well with their data. Now, the bottom line is that consumers need super apps for consolidated features for their mobile and for their desktop experiences. And businesses, they need this type of super apps to create engaging employee experiences. So users and teams, they can access and they can collaborate and activate any type of services that they need. And there have been some surveys, and over 72% of the surveyed consumers globally expressed their interest in using these type of super apps because of the reasons like being able to coordinate different type of aspects of your life into a single app, into a single location, and reducing the risk of losing any kind of sensitive data. Now, think about this last time you bypassed, for example, going to a bank because you deposited your check online. Maybe some people don't even know what that means. Then they decided to pay your credit card on the same banking app. So you see the developments in the financial payments, which are growing quite quickly. Or another example is where you're working from home and using collaborative technologies to make calls and to coordinate. Now, super apps are being used mostly for mobile technologies, what we see, but they can also applied in any type of context as well. I want to address one more app that recently has been launched, and it's not really falling into the category of super apps, but it's definitely an app that will change everybody's life the coming year. And if you haven't heard of it, you need to research it. And this is ChatGPT. Now, when it comes to generating natural sounding text, the GPT, and GPT stands for Generative Pre-training Transformer. This is one AI model that has proven itself very effective with machine translation, with language summarization, with content generation. And this is just a few examples of these natural language processing applications that have benefit. And this is from the team from the OpenAI team who created this. Now, conversational GPT models, or it's also called Chat GPT models, they are specialized forms of the GPT that have been taught to hold natural sounding conversations with people. So you ask a question, you get an answer. And these type of models, they are frequently employed to create conversational type of chatbots and the virtual assistants. But this one, this ChatGPT, is really the next level. So models of the ChatGPT, they are trained on massive collections of human speech, and they're allowing them to produce answers that are natural and that are relevant to the context in which they were generated. And they can be customized to perform better in particular domains or with a certain set of topics. And to give a few examples how it will change your life, basically everybody's life, normally you go to Google and you type in a specific search, or you maybe ask a question. But now, instead of getting 10, 100,000, 10,000 of search results you need to go through, you get an answer. So every knowledge question can be answered by ChatGPT. Now, if you need to write a text, for example, whether it's a Facebook ad, whether it's an article, whether it's an intro email, whether it's summarizing a piece of text, you just give the query to the chat of GPT and it writes very useful text for you. The more context you give, the better it can write the text fitting exactly your purpose. And it's really amazing. And only these two aspects will change your life if you start using it. Just try it out and you can experience the power of AI language models, which you see right now. It's really start working to a level that it's tremendously easy to use. So what we see is that super apps, they're driving the next generation of experiences for consumers, for employees, but also for businesses, by enabling people to use the services they want to conveniently in their social and in their work lives, and sharing data across services that helps organizations to create connected experiences. And by creating this together with the features and the capabilities that the super apps have. And businesses have a lot of opportunities to further streamline user experiences and differentiate themselves with the next generation of experiences. So if you like this type of apps, it's definitely something you need to dive into, and you can start helping businesses developing these type of super apps and create the next type of experiences that are going to change the world. And I think that's a nice moment to go to the trend number 3. And trend number 3 is the sustainability. Over here, I'm in Europe, it's a very hot topic, but I think it's a hot topic everywhere. And where we look at AI and technology trend for 2023, this sustainability is a crucial subject that defines for our generation, but also for the next generation, which is as important as well. So organizations across the industries, they must reduce the carbon footprint, and they must meet the regulatory requirements that demand the net zero, which is an agreement by 2050. So AI is a critical component in helping organizations to innovate with this new sustainability type of solutions. So businesses are driving value and revenue with analytics and with AI environmental sustainability initiatives. So for example, in consumer-focused industries, businesses are embracing accountable sustainability. So this is a governance-based approach to data management. So companies can transparently share environmental goals, corresponding actions to take, and report and measure consistent progress. So they can adopt the governance best practices, and they can help stakeholders to be held more accountable for their sustainability efforts. And people want transparency. They want to understand what each company is doing in to help reaching the sustainability goals. So that's more and more important to become transparent in this domain as well. Now, if you look in the supply chain and in manufacturing, we see smart factories are connecting physical, digital, and experimental technologies and integrating them together to create sustainable type of solutions. Now, they are built from the ground up to address this future environmental needs, such as being built in a net zero building powered which is powered then more by renewable energy and powered by smart grids, which is using effective waste management efforts and recyclable materials. It's using smart lighting, it's using solar panels, and using all different kind of activities to reduce the carbon footprint. If we look in the public sector, for example, we have climate change and government action coincide. So data and analytics, they are helping governments to embrace solutions that target climate change, which impact the public sector and which impact also the communities. And this is done by targeting creative solutions and by decarbonizing and achieving a net zero type of approach and introducing, for example, electric fleet vehicles for governments. But also committing to renewable type of energy frameworks to help governments integrate modern energy solutions and accelerate a lower carbon future or even a net zero carbon future. Now, individual sectors also present large opportunities for organizations to create value in their sustainability initiatives. To give a couple of examples, so building and contracting companies, they can build net zero buildings, as construction accounts for 40% of the global CO2 emissions. So they need to do something, and construction and contracting companies, they can implement efficiency enhancing building materials, or they can use green engineering. They can use performance management systems and also low carbon heating and cooling systems, which are driven by AI, and also energy grids, which are driven by AI. Look in the automotive industry. Cars and trucks, they're responsible for 75% of the carbon emissions from mobility. Now, vehicle manufacturers must decarbonize the vehicles, and they must embrace battery and hydrogen fuel cell electric vehicles as well. So there's two trends in this area. If we look to some studies, for example, show that organizations need sustainability software to monitor social and environmental sustainability. And this can be real-time type of monitoring. And software vendors play a key role in helping organizations to track their environmental, social, and governance performance goals, the ESG as they're known as. So the businesses can set targets and they meet their sustainability goals. Another example, data centers. They're also target for sustainability as they account for 1% of the global energy consumption. Now, as organizations' data use increase, green development in the data center becomes a targeted area for reducing the impact of a business carbon footprint. Now, the future of data architectures will have advanced data-centric computing architectures that reduces computing power and data migration. And green development has become a key buzzword to describe these industries that are going to be intelligent and that are using technology solutions for this lower carbon type of development. And businesses are building decarbonization strategies to build around this green development. And this is contributing to the industry-specific sustainability trends in 2023. And there's a lot of pressure on it. And it can be in areas like construction, the public sector, the manufacturing industry. So if you like to contribute to the sustainability, there's different industries. Take the industries that are the biggest pollution type of industries, and you can contribute a lot. So sustainability is becoming a way for organizations to deliver this next generation of experiences, to increase revenue, and regulatory requirements for carbon neutral future, and you can contribute to it. And that brings us basically to the next topic, which is observability and AI. And this is the last technology trend that we're going to discuss for 2023. Now, we've talked about how organizations are going to innovate and differentiate themselves with all kinds of new metaverse services. And this metaverse have to bring also new type of experiences. We then delved into how consumers and businesses are going to be using these super apps to make it easier to use the features we want to in our mobile and desktop type of applications. And we talked about how companies across the industries are using AI, for example, for sustainability. Now, at this point, how are organizations going to create these engaging experiences like that in the metaverse and the super apps and drive social and environmental sustainability? They must practice observability, which delivers an end-to-end view of their data, their technologies, and their processes. So observability brings visibility across the entire enterprise, so everything what you don't see, so that businesses can determine the root cause of anomalies, adjust internal strategies, and take appropriate actions in real time in constantly evolving world. So if everything is digital, and either there's somewhere a breach or a hack, they need to act in a split second, or even need to act before it happens with the help of AI. Now, a key challenge for organizations is to keep the systems and applications up and running. And observability has many benefits, including the ability to detect the root cause of application failures or drastically reducing application downtimes. You don't want your app to be down. That's the worst experiences that you can bring. Now, application downtime can cost companies 28 million, just one company, annually. But this can be reduced to around 2 million a year with observability practices. So this has a tremendous return. Now, the metaverse and the super apps and the environmental sustainability use cases require this always on approach of your operation. There is no downtime anymore. And these trends, they can't exist if systems and applications are inoperable. So observability helps organizations to better understand their entire data lifecycle and their end-to-end business and technology environment and their processes. Let me give an example. So if systems are down, it's a result of an application failure or a security breach. Now, as a business adopts more data and more technology, infrastructures become more complex, while security risks rise. And organizations need to innovate and to protect their organization from threats in real time and respond to all kinds of changing market dynamics with the agility and the speed. And the rise of cloud usage creates these hybrid architectures and multi-cloud environments, while cloud applications are significantly on the rise. And business leaders, they're also under a lot of pressure to expand their technology, to expand their cloud, to expand their observability knowledge, to retain and to hire new talent and respond to this high attrition and improve the project performance. So this is also an area, if you like to work with large amounts of data, like to detect anomalies, for example, this is an area where you should think about. And when technology environments and data are unified and visibility is extended across the enterprise, business can introduce automation and intelligence everywhere and enable this next generation experiences. But without this, it's one big failure. It's not going to work. You need to provide this foundation of observability. And for organizations to take advantage of observability for use cases like monitoring and management, and then they need to ensure that AI is completely embedded in IT operations. They need data standardization as a characteristics of the entire ecosystem to prevent any skewing of outcomes. They need to ensure they pivot observability practices to the cloud. Now, observability will be a key practice for organizations if they're going to deliver this differentiated next generation of experiences. Now, we went through all these trends. Let's now talk about the educational path for AI applications. Online education certification companies, like Simplilearn, they're uniquely positioned to help you to prepare for these type of future trends. And if you think about going into a certain direction, it's always good to think about what's happening next. Where will be the demand? And the demands will be in the areas where the trends are. So these are 4 areas. If you want to be sure for a job in the coming years, these are 4 areas which I highly recommend. And as mentioned before, we virtual learning breaks down the geographical barriers. It also promotes inclusive learning environments, and it coincides with early developments of the metaverse as well, what we see now creating by these e-learning companies. And there's many opportunities and benefits that online education certification companies can provide you. To give an example, their infrastructures, they are agile, they are adaptable, which allows them to offer up-to-date curriculum that's on target with this new type of trends, like the 2023 AI technology trends, like we're discussing now. But also, you can work at your own pace, and you can watch specified video content on any type of device. It makes it easy. And then also not to mention that online education certification companies partner with leading universities, universities like Caltech or Purdue, and partner with companies like the biggest tech companies like Amazon and Microsoft to ensure that you receive top tier education and you are prepared for your career at a company and you know exactly what's the demand. So if you're interested in working, for example, in the metaverse field, there are specific skills that can help you secure a job role. For example, blockchain and the NFT engineering type of skills. They can assist companies in developing a decentralized Web3 infrastructure and can accompanying assets that will be essential to the metaverse development and to the administration. So this is an area what you can dive into. Some skills that would be required for the role as an NFT smart contract developer, for example. It would be experience in Python, experience in JavaScript, probably. And you also need blockchain technology expertise, such as Ethereum or Solidity. And you need Web3 integration knowledge. That would be a great asset for you as well. Now, you might also want to pursue education in augmented reality or VR, virtual reality, because these are key. These are really key to this immersive type of experiences and the interfaces that companies need more and more. So if you want to be an AR or VR developer or an AR or VR engineer, skills that you should acquire should include experience in languages like C++ or C# or Python or Swift and JavaScript. You also need a deep understanding of UX and UI programming. And what would be good to know is 3D modeling, like polygonal, for example, or a computer science degree or a certification is also helpful, particularly if it's an advanced degree, like a master's degree. Now, if helping to contribute to sustainability is more your type of your cup of tea, then you're in luck, because data scientists are incredibly valuable for helping to combat the climate change. To give an example, you could become a smart factory operation engineer or smart factory automation system engineer. And then you need knowledge of IoT and CAD and CAM software, for example. You also need expertise in C++ or in Java or in MATLAB, and experience in robotics. And you have companies, for example, who are very good at this, is ABB. Now, then you have vision system experience, where we can think about, for example, Cognex, which is another important skill. You could also pursue jobs as a climate modeling machine learning engineer, or a climate data analyst, or air quality modeling engineer. So you see that jobs become more and more specific to a specific purpose, to a specific industry. And there's numerous out-of-the-box type of roles associated with sustainability and fighting climate change today. So you might even find other creative options, other creative namings of jobs, depending on the industry and the interest that you have. Also, a good educational foundation is skills in like data wrangling, machine learning, deep learning, statistical computing, multivariate calculus, data visualization, big data frameworks. This can help you to be attractive to different kinds of potential employers. And then you can perform tasks like predicting clean power supply demands, or you can develop a green infrastructure. And maybe you're interested in the future in super app developments or in engineering. For example, if you want to be a full stack engineer for super app development, then you want skills in web and in mobile applications and server-side components. And you also want skills in, for example, TypeScript or JavaScript or PHP and the associated frameworks like Node.js or React. And you need expertise as more as a foundation in NoSQL and SQL databases and DevOps testing tools like CI/CD tools, GitHub, Jira, and Docker. Now again, computer science degrees or certifications can help you here. And I want to add here that for any future career that touches any of these AI trends, you need some soft skills as well. Soft skills often are forgotten. You can think about the ability to communicate effectively, which is very important, and to work well with others, and do some critical thinking and adaptability and storytelling to share the trends. Now, let's conclude. Enabling next generation experience in 2023 will require businesses to unify their data, to unify their technology, the business environment, and that can bring end-to-end visibility across the enterprise and begin to explore exciting new use cases for the metaverse, for super apps, for sustainability. And I think that's a nice foundation you can contribute to in the coming years. And I'm looking forward to some questions. Maybe you have some questions, Stuart, in the meantime. I can't hear you, so.
Pardon me, I forgot I muted myself. First question that came in is from Manoj, who asks how AI relates to condition monitoring.
So if you look to condition monitoring, it's the process of monitoring the condition of machines or systems or orders to identify any problems or issues that arise. If that's the area what he's talking about. So AI can be used in condition monitoring to improve the accuracy and the efficiency of processes. So AI algorithms can be used to analyze the data collected by condition monitoring sensors in real time. They can identify all kinds of patterns and trends that may present a problem that can go occur. So you can basically detect already outages, and AI can be used to detect them, and you can do predictive maintenance before the issue basically occurs. It can be used to automate fully the analysis process. It can free up the technicians and the engineers to focus on other tasks and only focus on when it's required. So it's not, let's say, traditional type of maintenance where you do maintenance every month on a machine. No, you can do it when needed. And AI can be used, I think, to improve the performance and the condition monitoring of sensors and the systems, where you can have machine learning algorithms that can be used to optimize the placement and the configuration of sensors, for example. So there's all different kinds of areas where AI can be used in condition monitoring and help either prevent issues or optimize the operation.
Okay, thank you for that. And we have a question from Jason, who asked, have companies fully embraced things like ChatGPT for customer service and support?
ChatGPT is launched now 3 weeks ago. In the first week, it was downloaded, I think, more than 1 million times. So I'm not sure, but I don't think that many companies have embraced it already. I know already some companies that provided automated writing services like Sonic Writer. They created already a ChatGPT Sonic Writer version. So they were one of the first ones where I saw it. So you see now companies developing their own applications or new models on ChatGPT. And I expect initially everybody will start using it. You start discovering it, how you can use it, either for writing your ads, for writing your articles, for giving support to helping in your customer service process, for example. But it's so new that I haven't seen it yet, but maybe it's there already. Maybe some companies are developing it and they will come to market shortly. But it's it's an amazing technology, and I really recommend you have a look at it because the tool itself can help you already, and even it can help the companies on a bigger scale as well. But let's start using it first individually. They say it can even be a direct competitor of search engines like Google.
Interesting, and it represents a big step up from the current use of AI in customer support, which is pretty,
And
robotic.
there will be many use cases which we probably have not thought about now. And on the other hand, I see already new versions, new features popping up every week. They're scaling up. So I expect the development will go fast. But I think the nice thing about ChatGPT, um, I think if you look to all the chatbots that were there in the market, and they not always gave a good experience. Didn't answer your questions, didn't respond, had maybe just a menu. This is really the next level of having a normal conversation with a person. You can ask any question and you get an answer, whether it's an answer what it is or to write certain text. And as I said, that will change, especially the marketing industry, the writing industry, the knowledge industry, because the CEO from ChatGPT said knowledge becomes basically zero value because it will be delivered by AI, and that's quite a bold statement.
Yeah. Um, it's like the story that our brains will become atrophied because everything we need to know is on Google. That's what people used to say a few years ago. But Supermanian asked the question: is AI useful in sports development? How would that work?
So AI is used in sports already for quite a while. Initially, you can collect data. So, for example, if you have a specific sport, football, and you put sensors on every player. On one hand, it's used collecting data about the position of each player and which, let's say, combinations where certain players are and certain tactics, which tactics work, which tactics delivers to results. It also, for example, monitors the health, the physical, especially the physical health of each person. And by using this data, you can, let's say, initially provide insights. But if you start predicting, okay, which type of combinations can work best, or let machine learning algorithms basically calculate how you should play, how long you should have a ball position, where you, how much you should walk. It can basically advise you in every step and can be a support to you as a coach to take smarter decisions based on data versus based on your gut feeling as a coach. Moneyball is the nicest example, of course, which
Yeah.
the movie where it's all data driven and sports will become more data driven. Another example where technology is used tremendously is, for example, with Formula One. On one hand, Formula One during the race, they calculate every time. I think they do 1 billion calculations. For Red Bull does 1 billion calculations during a race to make decisions. And you can imagine that every second, the whole field changes, situation changes. And based upon this, algorithms are running. What's the next best decision? Should you change tires? What type of tires? when you should go into the pits, when not. And yeah, during a race, that's calculated. That's one part. The other part is for the design of the new car. They designed it basically in the wind tunnel because the downforce initially, when you were driving behind another car, the downforce was reducing, I think, by 48%. And that meant that you could not pass the car once you're behind it.
Hmm.
To have more wheel-to-wheel racing, they wanted to reduce this downforce, so they created a new design, and they used fluid computational dynamics to calculate millions of calculations what the effect is from each change, and they came up with a new design of the car. And now you see this season a lot of wheel-to-wheel racing, and if somebody passes one car, if Max Verstappen passes Leclerc, Leclerc has immediately the possibility to pass him again because he doesn't lose the downforce. And this makes sports, especially in Formula One, which was more racing behind each other in the past, and now it's really wheel-to-wheel racing, makes a tremendous difference in the experience that it delivers in sports.
Great. I have one. I think you have to leave shortly, but I have one
Yeah,
last question if you have time for it.
yeah, shortly.
Um, so Raphael asks about who are the leaders in Metaverse for industrial applications as opposed to Meta for consumer, and um, what types of companies are involved in things like digital twins.
Yeah, so let's talk about the leaders. So there's multiple um, companies that deliver compute, companies like NVIDIA, companies like Intel, where NVIDIA is really taking a strong lead in this domain, I think. So there are more, let's say, companies who dive into this, but these are the leaders. And if you look, for example, to NVIDIA's annual presentations or biannual presentations, you see amazing metaverse type of applications, whether it's creating this digital factories, a BMW factory, which is created, run before it's even built, but also creating digital avatars. If you go to my LinkedIn and and search for the featured items, you see a whole series of metaverse applications, how AI contributes to simulations, to creating digital avatars, to creating digital twins. And yeah, I let's say get all the newest type of developments I get delivered by these tech companies, and yeah, there you see what is possible. And I missed the second question, so this was about the digital twins.
Yeah, I mean, I think you covered a lot of that, but if there are particular vendors who help in digital twins.
Yeah, so I think what you see is if you help in the metaverse, the technology is similar. It's about creating simulations, virtual simulations, and whether you use it for creating an avatar or whether you create it for B2B digital twins, the technology is the same. And these companies, yeah, they operate basically in both spaces.
Um, if that's all the time you have, Ronald, I can let you go. Otherwise, let me know if you have time for another question or two.
Let's do one more question then.
Okay. I think one more question. Just see. Interesting question from Sudipta, who asks how AI can distinguish from misinformation and disinformation, and whether there's a potential for a service or a business model based on that capability.
Yeah, so misinformation, disinformation, and I think typical the social networks have a big challenge in defining what is real and what's fake. So on one hand, let's say defining whether it's real or fake, it's a personal validation. So if somebody posts something, people reviewing certain content, and they can say, hey, it's real or it's fake. And the other part is, for example, like this ChatGPT is doing, is checking all the data that's online, reasoning whether it's logical and whether it's true. And then true is, it can be, let's say, objective, it can be subjective. So true is a very broad spectrum. And at a certain moment, you need to say, okay, this is so far out of the reality. And I think during COVID, this was a very good case where, yeah, there were all kinds of stories about how to get COVID, the strangest stories. And I'm not going to mention them, as even it can get flagged on YouTube or something, to get banned. But the algorithms can detect whether things are within the spectrum of reality or outside of the spectrum of reality. And that's what's happening with fake news. It's happening, for example, with bots. Currently on Twitter, is removing bots substantially. And they do this with the help of AI to find out, yeah, the type of messaging and how they message, if they're typing, if they're posting messages in real time. So there's all different kind of checks in real time to define it's fake news or it's real. And as I said, fake and real is still a gray area because it can be opinions, but sometimes, yeah, these algorithms define, okay, it's fake. And one very easy example, what you see now, if you go on Twitter, you see often the tweet being blacked out and say this has sensitive data, and it's based upon image recognition. It can be based upon the text. It can be on links that are sent somewhere. So there's multiple type of checks, not only text checks, visual type of checks, and video type of checks to find out if it's appropriate or not.
Thank you for that. And thank you very much for this session, Ronald. I'm going to continue on, but I know that you have a time constraint and need to leave. So
Can I just log off, or
yes, go right ahead. And I will share with our audience the information on how to contact you. First, I'm going to
thank you all
very much. And first, I'm going to mention one of our Simplilearn programs, which is the postgraduate program in artificial intelligence and machine learning from Caltech. This is the version of our program that's offered outside of the United States. And there's another version that's offered within the United States. This one is an 11-month program. It's fully online, and it features live virtual classrooms meeting weekly so that you have time face-to-face with your instructor and your classmates. And it takes you through integrated labs and hands-on projects. If you use the QR code there, it will take you to the page on our website for this program. But it covers an extensive, comprehensive curriculum, including artificial intelligence, Python, machine learning, Keras and TensorFlow for deep learning, advanced deep learning and machine vision. It has a capstone project that lets you integrate all of those skills into one industry-based solution for a problem that you then use as an exemplar of how you do work in AI and show that off to potential future employers. It allows you to take electives in data science and statistics and NLP, speech recognition, reinforcement learning, and in academic master classes from both Caltech, CTME instructors, as well as IBM industry experts. So it exposes you to a number of different tools and platforms. More than exposes you, it requires you to use them and be proficient in them so that you can add those to your resume with confidence. So in this 90-second description, just curious to know who in the audience might be interested in more about this program. Just do a quick poll. We'll keep this open for a few seconds. I'll be sharing with you how to get more information about this. We'll close the poll in about 10 seconds or so. All right. So, okay, more than 80% of our audience said that they'd be interested, certainly or perhaps, in this program. So we'll share with you information about that. And while about half of you are looking to do this something beyond 6 months, some of you are looking to do this fairly soon. So again, the QR code gives you information, but the best way to get direct information is to email us at askus@simplylearn.net. I am going to put into the chat the link to this program page in case you don't want to get your phone out to scan the QR code. Let me do that. That's in the chat, and I will also put the email addresses in the chat now as well. And as I promised, here is Ronald's LinkedIn information. I will put this URL in the chat for you so you can just grab that. You can also find Ronald van Loon by Googling, find his link there. And please reach out to him on LinkedIn. If you had questions that we couldn't cover because of time limitations, he may be able to help you with those through that connection. Do want to thank everyone who came out for this presentation today, this evening, and this morning, depending on where you are in the world. Thank you all for being here. We are very pleased to have you in our audiences, and we hope that we'll see you at future Simplylearn webinars. Connect with us on Facebook and LinkedIn at Simplylearn, or pardon me, Facebook and Twitter at Simplylearn, LinkedIn Simplylearn, and then we also hope that we can welcome you into the Simplylearn learning community. Again, that concludes our webinar, and thank you for being here.